Hi friends, it's Lauren Taylor. Thanks for joining me in my craft room today. I'm excited because it's our March 2024 Oh So Inspired collaboration hop where I'm hopping along with some of my friends. And this month we are inspired by Terry Walker, Nuts About Stamping, and her adorable green and paper strip card. I loved the green floral leafy look, so I'm going to use that for my card as well as adding strips. You can find this month's playlist with all of the members of the collaboration team down below in my description. I hope you're inspired to create with us just like we were inspired by Terry's card. So let's jump into how I'm going to be creating my card today with my BetterPress plate and paper strips. This BetterPress plate is called the Friendship Book Plate, and it's the March 2024 Plate of the Month from Spellbinders. I have a sheet of Porcelain BetterPress A2 cotton card panels, and I'm going to be using that to do my impression today. I'm adding this beautiful floral and leafy wreath rectangle plate onto my BetterPress system, and because I'm going to die cut the center out, I'll go ahead and add my sentiment as well so I can run them through at the same time. I'm using the Leaf BetterPress ink from the Flower Garden mini ink set, and I completely covered both plates. Now I realize I forgot to get my panel ready on my top plate, so I'll go ahead and grab some mint tape, and I'm just going to barely secure my cotton card panel in the A2 outline of the top plate. I know I have some room for my tape because I just want to make sure that I don't accidentally overlap where the plate is going to make an impression. Otherwise, the ink will get on the mint tape and not on my panel. I'm running this through my Spellbinders Platinum 6 machine. So I'm just running that through once and running it through twice, making sure that my top plate does not move or adjust in any way. And we'll do a fun top plate reveal. I absolutely love how this is going to turn out. I think the design is so pretty. I like the little flowers on there, and I think the sentiment is just a really cute sentiment. I'm going to use the oval shaped die as well as a sentiment coordinating die to cut out my images. So I'll go ahead and grab more mint tape to keep my sentiment die cut in place. Once that's in place, I'll add a little bit more mint tape to add in the oval, doing my best to make sure I cut that out of the center of the square shaped wreath design. I'll go ahead and get these separated, and I'm going to also make sure I remove any of my mint tape that I accidentally got from applying keeping my dies in place while I ran it through the die cut machine. I'll go ahead and set my sentiment aside, and we're going to work on trimming down this panel. I really liked Terry's card and how she had a white outline of her card with the card base, and then there was a layer of a green border from another layer of cardstock, and then her design on another white panel. So I'm going to emulate that look by trimming down my panel. I go pretty close to the edge of my wreath, and then I will trim a piece of green cardstock later to be in between my BetterPress panel and card base. So I trimmed it to be slightly larger than my wreath design. I didn't really do a good measurement of my wreath, I just trimmed it. And my green panel is cut to 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And I used a corner rounder on the edge of my cotton panel as well as my green cardstock, and I'll do the corner rounder again on my card base when I get there. So here are the different floral strips that I cut from the Joyful A2 patterned paper pad from scrapbook.com, and I'm creating that V shape that she has on her card. So once I have my first two strips in place, it's going to set the stage, I guess you could say, to be able to add in the rest of the strips. So I have my first one and then I have my second one, so I'm just adding glue to where the strip is going to attach to my back of my BetterPress panel and that are going to be visible through the opening. So I'm only going to focus on that since that's all you're going to see. I'm adding liquid glue to anywhere where the strip will adhere to the back. So now that I have the first two, it's much easier to go left and then right with these strips as they create a V-shaped pattern. and I go all the way to the top, there ends up being just a little bit left to cover, and instead of cutting a new strip, I'm just going to trim a piece of my strip that I'm going to cut off anyway to be able to glue and fill in that last little opening of the V-shaped design. I really like this design with the paper strips. I think it looks really pretty. It definitely won't show up as much as the inspiration card, but I think it's a fun, subtle design in the background. Once the glue has dried, I'll just go ahead and trim off any of the excess of those paper strips, going around the corner rounder so I don't have to get out my corner rounder again, but just cutting it so you can't see the strips from the back of the panel. Once all those are in place, I'll go ahead and grab my liquid glue again, and I'll go ahead and add liquid adhesive to attach this to my green panel. Now, I definitely could have just glued my strips directly to the green cardstock, but I wanted to make sure they didn't show past the white panel, so that's why I adhered everything to the back of the white panel instead of gluing them to the green cardstock background. Once that's in place, I'll grab some foam adhesive. I'm going to use some pretty thin foam adhesive from scrapbook.com, the 1mm squares and strips, to cover the back of my sentiment. I didn't want to have too much dimension on this card since I'm kind of keeping everything pretty flat, so a 1mm thick foam is perfect for this, and I'm adhering that sentiment right into the center where those paper strips are showing through the opening. To add a little bit more color to my card, I grabbed my Topaz Twinkle Rhinestone embellishments from Trinity Stamps, and I'm just using a jewel picker to pick up some of those rhinestones in different shapes and add them to the center of my flowers. My card design is now done, so I'll go ahead and add this to a top folding A2 card base, again using that corner rounder to corner around the edges of, or the corners of my card, and then I added liquid adhesive to the back of my panel to adhere it to my card base. Here's a close-up look at how my card turned out. I hope that you like my interpretation and inspiration from today's project. And again, you can find the playlist to see everyone's creations down below in my description. I hope you have fun and are inspired to create with us as well. I'd love to know what inspires you the most from the original card. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll click like, and if you're new here, I hope you'll subscribe and come back. As always, you can find everything I use down below in the description box. Thank you and have a wonderful day. Bye!